Welcome to Lead. Today I want to talk a little bit about culture. It's the ongoing conversation that I think happens a lot of places. And when it doesn't happen, and people don't know what culture is, well, it's a bad deal. And when it doesn't happen and we know what culture is, well, everything's fine. Culture is important in any organization, especially in a church. And when I think about culture, I think about it like this. We're in Christmas season. I'm wearing my Christmas colors. Brown is around every Christmas. I mean, you see it in the pine cones, in the branches of the lovely Christmas tree. Anyways, I'm playing. But here's the thing. Culture determines a whole lot. And when you see Christmas, well, you see what happens. And if you're married, you may realize that, well, your spouse's Christmas growing up didn't look like your Christmas. There's some similarities, but because of family culture, there's some things that were different. And, I think about some families, every year they will take some time and read the Christmas story together. Some families will sing songs together. Many families will exchange gifts. Sometimes there's a method to that madness of how gift buying goes, what it looks like. I remember when I was young married, and I'm the oldest of six. Our family was growing, and my wife and I, we were buying gifts for everybody in our family, and everybody was buying gifts for everybody, and then everybody was getting married and having kids. And so somebody had the idea, well, let's have everybody, that the siblings, make gifts for one another. Well, I'm not very crafty and I'm not very artsy, and it was sad for the people that got the gifts that I had to make for them. What we were trying to do was create something new that wasn't the culture that we had always had. And well, when that happens, some people, it's rough and tough for them to come along. And that happens in organization, happens in churches, happens, the idea of, okay, we're changing something. Well, that's different than a culture, or is it? Or somebody new comes in and they don't know the culture. And by the way, there's a learning curve to get acclimated to culture, because every church has a form of culture, just like every family has their own homeostasis, their culture. And when it comes around Christmas or Thanksgiving or certain traditions, well, that culture kind of rises to the surface, and if you try to change it, well, oh my, right? I love Sam Chan, someone that I read after. He said, culture, not vision or strategy, is the most powerful factor in any organization. It determines the receptivity of the staff and volunteers to new ideas, unleashes or dampens creativity, builds or erodes enthusiasm, and creates a sense of pride or deep discouragement about working or being involved there. Ultimately, the culture of an organization, particularly in churches and nonprofit organizations, but also in any organization, shapes individual morale, teamwork, effectiveness, and outcomes. And I love what Dick Clark, the leadership executive, said. He was with the pharmaceutical company Merck at a very high level. He said, the fact is, culture eats strategy for lunch. You can have a good strategy in place, but if you don't have the culture, the enabling systems, the negative culture of the organization will defeat the strategy. And that's so true. And so I think it's so important that we understand culture and its impact on what we do, that it's going to, we want a culture that is going to help us to accomplish the good things that God has planned, to embrace the vision for next at Elevation Church. And wherever, if you're listening to this, and whatever organization you're involved in, needs to be a healthy culture that embraces vision to go forward. And so next series of videos, I'm going to spend talking about some cultural elements at Elevation Church and how that works. And some of those are, they're not something that somebody comes and says, okay, this is culture, read about this, learn this. It's just things that happen. Like in a lot of places, culture becomes something that's a little unspoken, but certain people understand it and others maybe you're learning it. And so this is going to help you if you're on a team, if you're serving, maybe you're new to Elevation and you're watching this. It's going to help you understand some of the dynamics of the culture at Elevation. Looking forward to doing this. And whatever your Christmas culture is this season, well, I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it's memorable and that it is a good space for you to enjoy family. And remember that this is a season of receiving the greatest gift of all, Jesus. And so have a very Merry Christmas.